1 2 testing. So what is it we're proposing? So what is the project? We are proposing a 49.9 megawatt energy storage facility, and that's made up of containerized batteries. So they're similar to storage containers that you would see, shipping containers that have been repurposed with batteries inside of them. So if you were to walk inside of one of these energy storage units, you would see kind of racks and racks of batteries with small components, similar to what it would look like inside a data center with racks and racks of servers. So that's kind of what the main components of the battery storage is made up of. So there's 52 of those in total. There is associated equipment with that. There's an access track, there's a small meter building, some fencing. There's a large portion of the project's actually screening and landscaping that we've added to screen the project as best we can. So that gives you the bare bones of what we're proposing, which I'll show you in more detail later on. Now, in essence, what energy storage projects do, all energy storage projects, is we store excess energy from the grid. So that's usually at times when renewable energy is being generated and it's not needed. So if you drove by wind farms and you see some turbines spinning and other turbines not spinning, the reason for that is that power is not required. So the developers are being told to switch those turbines off, and that energy goes to waste. So what energy storage does is it gives us the opportunity to store that power that would have otherwise been wasted, and then put that into the batteries and then back into the grid when it's needed. So it helps us balance supply and demand for the grid. But I'll explain a little bit about that further on. So who are Intelligent Land Investments Group? So we're an energy storage development company based in Hamilton in Lanarkshire. We started the energy storage side of things in 2017. Before that, we were involved in the feed-in tariff for sort of smaller renewable projects, single turbines, run river hydro schemes, and also some solar as well. But we quickly realised that energy storage was going to be the next thing that the country was going to be needed. So in 2017, we came with the vision of bringing 3 gigawatts of energy storage to Scotland. The majority of that through developing 3 pump storage hydro projects, all are over 450 megawatts. The most advanced of those now has planning, Red John on the shores of Loch Ness, which got planning consent a couple of weeks ago, which is a massive infrastructure project. And we've also got 1 gigawatt of battery storage, of which Restenneth would be part of as well. So why do we need energy storage? What's the purpose of having energy storage at all? So Scotland's got a target of net zero by 2045. And to do that, we're going to have a bigger shift towards renewable energy. But the age-old problem that we have with renewable energy is it's intermittent. So that means we can't turn it up to meet demand. So if we can't, the sun doesn't always shine, the wind doesn't always blow, and that's out with our control. So what we've done historically, when renewable energy hasn't been available, is we've turned on the coal, the gas, and the nuclear to make up the difference. Now, as we move away from fossil fuel generators and as nuclear kind of plants come to the end of their shelf life, we become more and more dependent on that intermittent renewable energy. So what we need to help out with that and to balance the peaks and troughs of that is energy storage. So National Grid ESO, who operate the electricity system, have estimated we could need up to 37 gigawatts of energy storage by 2050. We've currently got around about 4 gigawatts. We've got quite a bit to go. The Scottish Government themselves realise that the energy storage is going to have to be part of the energy mix, and they're broadly supportive of these kind of projects. So why in this location? Why are we actually at the land at Restenneth Farm? And the reason is that we're located close to the Lunenhead GSP, which is the substation just across the road from the project. So a grid supply point is basically a large substation where power comes in on transmission power comes in on pylons at high voltages, gets broken into smaller voltages out to your towns and out to smaller substations, then eventually out to your house and to your businesses. So it's a major hub for the grid. Now, although there's quite a lot of these across Scotland,
there's not that many of them that have the capacity available to take that kind of 50 megawatts or just under 50 megawatts that we're planning. So that's why we're at the land at Restenneth beside the grid supply point. Now, here's the next few slides give you an idea of where we are situated. So if you can see the kind of red line boundary, that's the kind of planning boundary. So it's land at Restenneth Farm to the south of the B9134 between Forfar and Lunan Head. So we're about 200 metres to the southwest of Forfar to the southwest, 200 metres from Lunan Head to the northeast, and the closest dwellings are over 200 metres away at Dunninchin Avenue on the edge of Forfar, and at Dunnerway and Lunan House on the edge of Lunan Head. So we're a good distance away from any kind of residential properties. Now the site layout, this gives you a kind of a bird's eye view, a kind of technical drawing of what the project's going to look like. So hopefully you can see the kind of grey rectangles. So those are the energy storage units themselves. So we've got 52 of those in total, 2 stores of ancillary materials in some of those units. So it makes up 54 containers in total as the kind of the mainstay of the project. So if we've taken access off the Old Brecon Road, the access comes down the middle of the compound, and we have the containers either side. Now outside of that, we have if you look at the pink line, which is the kind of purpley pink line, that goes around the actual sort of physical compound where the containers are, and that's a 3-metre high wooden fence that will screen everything. And then out with that, you'll see we have a large kind of hatched area. And this is really to put a lot of thought and a lot of time into the design of the landscaping for these kind of projects, so that from the outside the visibility is as minimal as possible. So we've got a landscape bund which is going around the northern or northeast side of the project and the north of the project, and we've now added a landscape bund to kind of southwest as well. And a landscape bund is basically a raised mound of ground, which we're going to plant trees, sort of native broadleaf trees and shrubs that over time will come to screen the project quite well. So we put them on a bund, so when we put in the smaller trees, they still cover quite a lot of the project. So over time, eventually, the all that will be visible would be the trees and the landscaping. So that's what, there's also a small substation in there, this kind of building here, the meter building, which has all the equipment that we need to take the power to and from the grid. And outside of the project entirely, there's a wire stock fence as well. So that gives you a wee idea of what the layout plan that we have. Now the energy storage units themselves, they're kind of standard storage container size. So they're 13 meters by 2.5 meters by 2.6 meters high, and they contain all the kind of batteries, inverters, transformers, everything I kind of described earlier. They have the kind of racks and racks of small battery units that make up the full energy storage unit. Now this technology that we're using is solid lithium batteries, and those have been successfully, successfully used on many sites, almost all battery storage sites in effect in the UK and worldwide. So we're using proven technology. The substation building itself, the small kind of meter building that I mentioned, it's 10 meters by 6 meters by 3.2 meters high. We'll have an council a colour that will agree with Angus Council. That basically contains all the equipment that we need to take the power to the batteries, and then put the power from the batteries back into the grid. This gives you a kind of representative cross section of what we're going to be doing. So we'll have the 3-meter high wooden fence. There's some security cameras as well to kind of keep an eye on all the equipment that's inside. Then we'd have the trees and landscape bund and everything like that. And then we'd have the kind of wire and stock fence outside of that. So again, one of the sort of the mainstays of any of these kind of energy storage projects is the design that we put into the landscaping, because that's crucial. We want to make the project as visually friendly as possible, and with the landscape bund that we're proposing and the tree planting, we believe that very quickly over time the project will, the visibility will be pretty minimal. So that's really gives you an idea of what it is we're proposing. Now, I'm just going to finish the presentation there, and myself and Greg will answer any questions you might have.